B. Listen to the text. For statements 1 to 5, choose T if the statement is true according to the text, F if it is false. It seems to be a trait of human nature that we are more shocked by the death of species if it happens in one event. Another trait seems to be that we get more emotional about animals which have attractive features, such as big eyes and soft fur like bunny rabbits. This is known as the cute effect. This might explain why there hasn't been greater protest about the decline in wild bees. Insects are not high up on the list of animals which generally get human sympathy when they die or start to disappear. There are 1,965 European species of bees, and of this number, 9% are under threat of extinction. As well as this, another 5% of native bee species in Europe will probably soon be under threat. Today, I am going to be explaining why we are losing so many bees, what the consequences are, and finally, what we can do to reverse this trend. There are many threats to bees. One of the main threats is from loss of natural habitat because of urban spread, intensive farming, and climate change. Intensive farming is a practice which aims to get a high yield of crops by using fertilizers and pesticides, and where animals are kept indoors. As well as areas of land being taken up by farming, the chemicals used in intensive farming can harm bees directly. There are some pesticides which kill bees immediately if the bees are on the flowers at the time they are being sprayed. Some pesticides affect bees' brains, so they can't learn as effectively, or forget their roots, and even the scent of flowers. Bees are more vulnerable than other insects to these pesticides, as they are not so able to get rid of the toxins. Apart from loss of habitat, another threat to bees is the varroa mite, which is a pest that attaches to the body of bees, spreading a virus to them and leading to the death of a honeybee colony. How about the consequence of losing so many bees? Apart from the belief some people share that bees, like any living creature, have a right to live, bees are essential for the pollination of crops. They are the most important insect that transfers pollen from one plant to another. Pollination is needed for plants to reproduce. Without bees, the ecosystem would suffer greatly. Many species of plants, and consequently many species of animals, simply wouldn't survive without them. Likewise, in farmed areas, bees play a huge role in pollination. If it seems like protesters are making a mountain out of a molehill, then consider how devastating the loss of bees would be to agriculture. Just think that bees pollinate 70 out of 100 crop species responsible for feeding 90% of the world. Without bees, it would be impossible to keep feeding the global human population in the same way. So what can we do? Well, thanks to pressure from beekeepers, some countries have already banned the use of pesticides which are harmful to bees, and this ban needs to extend to other countries. Urban areas cannot return to being countryside. However, they can become more wildlife-friendly by more nature areas being created in towns, and more flowers which provide food for bees being planted in gardens and parks. Urban habitats play a more significant role in bee conservation than farmed areas. Finally, there needs to be more regulation in the trade of managed bees, as these can spread diseases.